Very excited to be joined with head coach and GM of the Neepawa Titans, Mr. Ken Pearson. Ken, great to have you today. It's been a pretty remarkable run, especially of late. What have you really liked about the way your team has kind of gelled and the results have really started to come as well?
Well, I think I like the way that we've had some guys step up. We've had some injuries to some key players. We lost Colton Alexander, our leading scorer, recently, and we've had a couple other guys at McLeod and Andres and Paquette also hurt. So it's been nice to see some of our younger guys step up and be able to contribute and gain some valuable experience here the last 10 games.
Yeah, you talk about facing adversity. It's not been an easy run. There's been some highs, some lows, but overall, just give us your sense of how the year has gone for the Neepawa Titans.
Yeah, it's been a bit up and down, maybe a little bit more down that we had hoped for. Just a little segment there where we thought we played well enough to win, but just didn't get the points. But as a group overall, I think we're pretty happy with where we are. We've been able to compete in every single game and showed well. And I think that we're starting to see some improvement on our special teams, which I think we struggled a bit with early in the year, and we made a few adjustments on that. And some of our guys obviously got a little bit more comfortable and have been able to contribute a little bit more offensively, especially on the power play.
Ken, it's always fun in the first few months or even weeks of the season. You put different guys together, you work on different combinations. Then, as the season goes on, you watch chemistry develop both on the ice and off. What's it been like to kind of see the guys kind of grow together and start pulling on the rope in the same direction?
Yeah, no, it's been great. We have a real good group of guys here. It's one of the tighter teams we've had in the last 5 years that I've been here, and our young guys have really been given an opportunity to contribute, and our older guys have done a real good job at bringing them into the group and kind of showing them the way on and off the ice, which I think's very important to have that happen with your older guys instead of maybe telling them what to do. We got our older guys who are actually showing them what's expected and how to do things properly and the way that we want to do things here. As an Equal Titan.
Speaking of doing things the way as an Neepawa Titan, your captain Cooper Kasprick, I know he got hurt there a couple weeks back, but he's been kind of the emotional leader, the straw that stirs the drink, and he's really been the kind of guy to throw a team on his back. What's it been like to see him grow as a leader and see the guys kind of, following behind him and what it's like to play Titans hockey?
Yeah, you know what? Him and I had a lot of conversations over the summer about him becoming the captain, and wanted to make sure that he was obviously comfortable with it being right from Neepawa and whatnot. There's obviously some different pressures that he feels, being from town, and I think he's really taken that captain's role on and in a great way. He got injured, he got suspended, and was still able to lead this group on or off the ice when he wasn't able to play on the ice, and just to see him grow as a young player, on the ice, but also off the ice. I think he's really taken a big step with his role off the ice, and really showed the guys, you know, just how to contribute defense or differently and give back to the community by volunteering for different things. He's a guy that's always been someone who's always stepped up, whether he was a first year player, second year player, and now as a third year player and the captain, he's really been able to speak from experience, and you can just see how the younger and newer players that come to our club kind of gravitate to him, and it's always nice to see him have that kind of success. I know that maybe at times he's put a little bit too much pressure on himself, but you just have to remind him to not change anything just because he has that C on his jersey. We still need him just to play the way that he has played for us in the past, and to be the person that he is, and not something that he's not off the ice.
And you've got some big horses up front. I mean, Mason Hartley, Colton Alexander, you mentioned both having really strong years, Caden Haggerty, Tim Taconic. But I don't think you get enough credit for being as deep as you are up and down the roster. Just as a coach, what's it like being able to kind of look up and down your bench and know that any guy, any line can kind of get the job done on any given night?
Yeah, you know what? It was actually funny the other night with the addition of Jack Clark from Swift Current. When we went in to play Verdun, and our fourth line was Jack, Braden Knox, and Logan Paquette, and it's real nice to have that kind of depth. It's been a long process building that depth up and getting the players here that we wanted to, and it's nice to see. Doesn't matter what we ask of either any of the four lines, whether it's to be a shutdown role or to be our energy role or to contribute offensively. It's nice that on any on any other night, it's always a different line that's scoring for us, and it's a different line that's checking for us, and it's a different line that provides that energy for us. So that's something that we haven't had here in the past.
And defending home ice is obviously very important, and it's always difficult to head into the Yellowhead Center and play. Just what's it been like to feel like you're really taking ownership of your home ice? And teams are no longer looking forward to going to Neepawa. They're kind of on their toes as soon as they walk into the building. What's that like for you?
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Obviously, you've always gone into different buildings throughout the years, and you always know that it's going to be a tough night, just mentally for the players because some of them are already thinking it's going to be a tough night, and to have that as kind of an extra little bit of an advantage of coming into Neepawa. It's a smaller rink, and we like to take advantage of that, and I think our guys play fast and make it tough on teams that come in here. So it's obviously something that's important to us, something that we've talked about, how important home ice is, especially come in the regular season, come playoff time. It's we want to make people a tough place to play so that we can maybe get that little extra advantage.
And with it being, of course, the holiday season, we think about how teams are getting involved in the community. What are some of the things that you've enjoyed watching when it comes to the guys getting out and becoming part of, the Neepawa town and being involved with the business community and even schools? What's that been like? And what are you guys kind of up to the next few weeks?
Yeah, that's something that we've really put a lot of importance on here is giving back to the community in some sort of way. And ever since I come back, we've been a team that's obviously done as much as we can with what time we have. And I know that that's something that's always been important to this organization. And just to see some of the different things, with the guys, going to schools, going to the care homes, and last week they were helping, decorate some doors at the care homes, and been going to the schools and doing breakfasts, and this coming week we're going to spend some time outside and with the Salvation Army and doing the ring the bell and look for donations. So it's something that our guys are expected to do at least once a week, some sort of volunteer time, and it's something that they all embrace. And we don't have a tough time getting guys to step up. It's not the same guys doing it over and over. However, we do have a good core of guys who do it, whether they get asked to do it or not. They always seem to link themselves in some way, and that's our veteran guys now, our veteran guys that have been here in the past. That's kind of just bleeds into your blood when you get here. You just make sure that you always contribute some way with volunteer time.
And we joked before we started this about never really having a day off. And as a coach and as a GM, you never really do. You're always thinking about, moves ahead on the chessboard. Once
Mhm.
the trade freeze kind of thaws and you start getting closer to the deadline, is there something that you'd like to maybe do as the Titans to secure either up front or on the back end or in goal to find your team a way to get that energy boost to continue on in the second half?
Yeah, I know. We got 3 games remaining here, and then we'll have a couple of games before the trade deadline when we come back after Christmas. So, with the 2 moves that we made here prior to the freeze, we want to see how things play out with that. But, obviously, if we have an opportunity to improve our club, whether it's up front or on defense, we're certainly going to do that. I think in goal, we're pretty happy with both of our guys, or all 3 of our guys we've got back there. So, we're certainly that's something one area that we feel we're very strong in and we won't touch. But if we can add a scoring guy up front, or maybe a solid stay-home defender. Maybe that's something that we'd certainly look at doing come the trade deadline.
Ken, at this point, you're 17, 12, 1 and 1 through 31 games. By the time this airs, you could either be in second or maybe even pushing up for first, depending on how the games play out here. What do you want to see from your team to get to that next level? I know you touched on special teams being an issue, but where can your team grow to get to that next level, to reach that next tier in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League?
Yeah, I think, especially this time of the year, this is the last week before you go home for Christmas. Obviously the guys have been here since some of them since mid-August, and they're looking at that schedule and seeing, I'm going to be home in 4 or 5 days. And I think for us, it's going to just our compete. We want to make sure that we are competing from now till the final whistle on Saturday night. And I think that's something that we can certainly improve on, is just making sure that we compete every single night for 60 minutes, and that our focus is there for 60 minutes.
Ken, we've got a big event coming up in the new year as well, the MJSJ Showcase. What would it mean to have a number of Titans, represent the program, represent the community at an event like that, and represent themselves too, to get themselves a little more spotlight and maybe find a Division I scholarship?
Yeah, I think it's always nice exposure to get as many players as you can to that event. And you know have to sometimes remind the guys that there are many good players in this league, and if you don't get chosen, it's not to be the end of the world. It's something that for them to maybe use as motivation if they don't get chosen. But for us, we'd like to see as many Titans as possible play in the U20 and the U18 game. Um, and I think we got to certainly have some real good candidates for both those teams.
And for yourself, would you like to be a part of that? I know that you got really good relationships with some of the coaches and GMs around the MJHL. So as much as there's work to do on the ice, it's got to be fun to see everybody all in one place.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that I've done it numerous times over the last 25 years, and it's nice to see some of the younger coaches get an opportunity. And I'll certainly be at the event and visiting and networking and whatnot. But I think that for myself and our organization, it's going to be a time where I put as much time as I can into our own team and preparing us for that February, March, as opposed to taking 4 days away and leaving my team. Whether we're a little bit shorthanded if the players go, that's fine. But I want to make sure that we're still be able to work on things while that event is going on.
Ken, last two for you. We talked about how the season's gone so far, the boys kind of gelling together and all of that. What's it like to go to the rink and it be a positive atmosphere? The guys laughing, the music playing, guys want to be around the rink. What's that like as a coach? And what's that like to see them develop as young men in that way as well, forming those relationships that could last a lifetime?
Well, it certainly makes practice a lot funner. That's for sure when you're winning. But it's certainly is nice to when you walk down the hallway, you can hear the music coming out of the dressing room, and you open the door and you see the smiling faces and guys joking and whatnot, and then getting prepared for practice. It's always nice, and like I said, we have a real good group of guys in that room, and even our injured guys who are unable to play. We try and make sure that they are still as much part of the team as possible, and have them involved with everything. So. It's good to see them grow. It's unbelievable when you see a kid that's been here, as a 17 or 18-year-old, and where they are now as a 19 and 20-year-old, just to see them mature both on and off the ice. And I think that's something that's very important to myself as a coach. I know our staff is it's very important to them also.
Ken, we'll wrap up with this. Of course, I'm sure you're happy to this point of the year, but the hard work continues and it's going to get more of a grind in the new year as well. Just take us through kind of being now the hunted as opposed to the hunter. Teams are ready for you. They're not going to sleep on the Neepawa Titans. Are you guys ready to be at your best every night, given how good you guys are and how much you've pushed the league to this point?
Well, I think you have to be ready every single night, no matter who you play. But I certainly think that as a staff, we try and prepare our guys. We do prepare our guys as much as possible and give them as much resources as we can to make sure that they're prepared to play that night. And what they do with those resources is up to them. So, but I do think that our guys they look forward to that challenge every night, and I know we certainly do as a coaching staff look forward to to making the changes, in-game changes, the night before changes when you play a back-to-back. I think that's the toughest thing is, if you play a Friday night, one opponent Friday night, and then you play another opponent Saturday night, just making sure you've got guys prepared for that game that night, but at the same time as a staff, making sure you got things prepared for the guys when they come in that next day that they can, shift and be able to shift easily to be able to compete against a different team.
Ken, appreciate the time. I know, like I said, it's been good to this point. I know that you're building off of what you did last year, but you want to take a couple of steps going forward. And Titans look primed to do something special this year. And I always appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you.